whether you're NDC or MPP, you need to have a word of commendation or a thought of commendation for President Akufo-Addo. He is the 7th or so president of the 4th Republic. The MPP manifesto is this is not the first time any manifesto is talking about this matter. And this is a president who comes and says, I have power, the power given me by the Constitution to appoint district chief executive, that I can appoint them from my party. I don't want that power anymore. I think that power is inimical to the progress of our society. Even though that power is given to me, the president, I want that power gone. I want it to go to the people. I want all political parties to participate and let us compete for the power at the local level. I, as Akufo-Addo, I want to compete with my MPP. Let John Mahama come and compete. Let Flight Lieutenant Rawlings and his people compete. Let PNC and CPP and all the political parties compete. This is a power that I have, but I don't want it anymore. I want to throw into the arena of competition. I will compete for some of it. Other people can compete for some of it, because that is the modern way of doing things. That is the way to break the winner takes all. I think for the statement that the president made in Parliament, he deserves commendation, because we have learned that power corrupts from Lord Acton and absolute power corrupts absolutely. This president has demonstrated that he doesn't want absolute power. It is something that we have to commend him for. Either we speak a commendation or we think of a commendation, because if each of the presidents of the past, from Flight Lieutenant Rawlings to Mr. Kufuor, Professor Mills, President Mahama, if each of them had said, let me look at the Constitution and take away some of the power that I have, today we will not be having this conversation. If Flight Lieutenant Rawlings has said that I am the president, I have the power to appoint the IGP, I also have the power to appoint the CDS, the power to appoint the prisons commander, I do not want to appoint anyone who is going to lead the Ghana Armed Forces. Let us amend the Constitution and have the Police Council and the Military Council. Let's have a model and a system that appoints the right people to those places. I will step back as president, would have moved a step further. If Mr. Kufuor came and said that I am the president, I have the power to appoint everybody who leads the financial institution in Ghana. I appoint the governor of the Bank of Ghana. I appoint the managing director of the Ghana Commercial Bank. I appoint the managing director of the National Investment Bank. I appoint the managing director of any state bank. If he has said that, well, I'm the president, I have the power to do so, I don't want to do that anymore. Let us have a system. Let the Ghana Banking College, Ghana Bankers Association, let us have a model with which we do these things, so that these appointments can be made without a president in the interest of democracy. Would have gone a long way. If Professor Mills had come and said that I'm Professor Mills, I'm a lawyer, I've gone through the system, I appoint the Chief Justice, I appoint Supreme Court judges, I appoint Court of Appeal judges, now I don't want that power anymore. Let us go and amend the Constitution and have these people appointed another way. I can lobby as president, my ministers can lobby those councils, as ministers, as Attorney General, as ministers of justice, they can lobby, but I don't want the power to appoint these people who would have come a long way. It is in this spirit that I think that Akufo-Addo, being the first president under the Fourth Republic, to say that the power that I have, I don't want it. Let that power go away and let me compete for it with all other colleagues. We should commend him. That's why when he spoke to Parliament, he said he has spoken to former presidents and they all said the same thing. In tribute to Akufo-Addo, let us hear again what he said in Parliament.
Speaker, yet another ambitious decentralization exercise is the expansion of full democracy to local government. A critical step to this end is the direct election of metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executives on a partisan basis. It is a firm manifesto commitment of the New Patriotic Party. Further, my discussions with the nation's leaders, including the former presidents of the Republic, convinced me that it is a step that we must take. The constitutional impediment to this, in Article 55 of the Constitution, an entrenched clause, must therefore be removed. To ensure the judicious use of the country's resources, I propose that the constitutional processes for a referendum should be initiated in such a manner that the holding of the referendum will take place at the same time as next year's District Assembly elections. If successful, the outcome of the referendum will mean that the current set of MMDCEs will be the last batch of chief executives to be appointed under the current system. I have no doubt that the resourceful Minister for Local Government and Rural Development, Hajia Alima Mahama, MP for Narerigu Gambaga, will be able to shepherd this process to a positive conclusion.
So you heard him. For whatever it is, I think that this president deserves some commendation. Nothing political about it, nothing about MPP or NDC, but let's urge our presidents to look at the Constitution and say what can be done. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to the polls on December 17. Let's vote a big yes. And let the NDC begin to guard their loins, let the MPP guard their loins, let the CPP guard their loins, and let us get to the situation where we have these political parties in charge of the districts, and the winner takes all be defeated. Because that is the single enemy. That is the lion and the enemy in the room. The winner takes all that the constitutional arrangement gives us is the enemy to Ghanaian politics. That is what has provided acrimonious politics. Let's go boldly on December 17th and vote yes, so that we will become like other countries have become, where our politics will no longer be acrimonious, where the responsibility of local government is clear, and we all know who has the responsibility. We all will have a connection with the development agenda in our localities. The taxes will be taken. Takrady will take different taxes from Kumasi. Kumasi might take different taxes from Ho. Ho might take different taxes from Accra. If you come to Accra, you have to behave in a certain way. Accra taxes may be white. Takrady will decide to make its taxes yellow, because now the chief executive of Accra is elected by the people of Accra, and is elected on party lines, an NDC person. The chief executive of London is Labour. What's wrong with that? And their policy is not acrimonious, because it's not a winner takes all. The government in England is conservative, but the chief executive of the capital city is the opposition. The opposition have London. So an NDC contractor doesn't have to worry. If NDC have Takrady, he can go there and get contracts over there. An MPP contractor doesn't have to be worried if John Mahama is president. If MPP have Kumasi, he can go there and get a contract over there. Winner takes all will be broken. Election day will have light tension like you see in other countries. Look at a country like Nigeria and look at the election. They don't pull knives. We pull knives. Nigeria doesn't pull knives. What is the reason? Because we have a winner takes all, and sociologists say self-preservation is the first initiative of man. So ladies and gentlemen, let's get out there and vote for a big yes. If you have any questions or any disagreements, send it to us on our Facebook page, Good Evening Ghana Official. We'll be delighted to answer it. I'm sure that this conversation is going to go on for a very long time, but let us vote a big yes on December 17th.